Hello friends, welcome to Self Mastery. Today we are going to talk about the book Think Less, Do More by Peter Hollins. Often we can't even begin a task because we feel it needs to be done perfectly. This thought holds us back and we just keep thinking but are unable to do anything. This is called inertia. The easiest solution to this is to lower your standards a bit. Imagine you want to learn a new skill like painting or playing the guitar. If you think you have to be like a professional artist right from the first try, you might never even start. You'll feel that you're not good enough, and you'll stop yourself by thinking that until you're perfect, there's no point in doing it. But if you lower your standards and just draw a small doodle or try to play a simple tune, you'll be able to get started. Once you begin, moving forward becomes easier. Similarly, when we think about a big task, it can seem so overwhelming that we can't even start working on it. Suppose you have to write a 10-page report and you're thinking it needs to be perfect. Just thinking this will make it feel very difficult and you'll start to procrastinate. But if you just decide to write the first paragraph, no matter how it turns out, you'll be able to start the work. Our brain is more interested in seeing the finish line, but when it sees that the finish line is far away, it gets scared. To overcome this fear, you just need to make your first step easy. If you want to start exercising, don't think that you have to do a 1-hour workout every day. Just think that you only need to stretch for 5 minutes. Once you're done stretching, you might feel like doing a little more. Perfectionism often becomes the biggest enemy of progress. We assume that we have to be perfect in everything. But the truth is, perfection never comes in a single stroke. It comes gradually through repeated attempts. The first draft is always bad, the first attempt is always average, and the first step is always unsteady. But if you accept this and give yourself permission to do average work at the beginning, you can defeat inertia. Think about it. When a child learns to walk, do they start running without falling on their first try? No, they fall, then get up, fall again, and slowly learn to walk. If they had thought that they wouldn't even try until they could walk without falling, they would never have learned to walk at all. We also need to adopt this mindset. Sometimes we think that if we set low standards, our work will be bad. But that's not true. Starting is the hardest part of any task, and if you make that part easier, the path ahead becomes easier on its own. When you start writing, you can edit it slowly. When you start exercising, you can gradually increase your stamina. When you start a new business, you can slowly improve it. But if you just keep thinking that the start has to be perfect, you might never begin. So the next time you feel too much pressure to do something, just lower your standards a bit. Make your target smaller, break the task into smaller parts, and most importantly, don't burden yourself with the need to be perfect. You just need to start, no matter how small that start is. Once you get in motion, inertia will disappear on its own. Often we think that we need motivation first to do a task. We believe that we'll start the work only when we feel motivated. But the reality is completely different. In fact, motivation is born from action. This means that if you just take the first step even without motivation, motivation will gradually start to build on its own. When you start doing something, you get involved in it, and then your brain naturally encourages you to move forward. Suppose you have to read a long book, but you don't feel like it. You're thinking that I'll read it when I'm in the mood. But if you just take the action of reading 2 pages, your brain will slowly get into the process, and you yourself will feel like reading more. This same principle applies to any task, whether it's exercise, studying, work, or learning a new skill. If you start, motivation will come on its own. The problem with motivation is that it's a temporary thing. You might get motivated by a motivational video or speech, but that motivation doesn't last long. So, if you rely only on motivation, you'll start feeling lazy again in a few days. But if you build a habit of taking action, you can achieve your goals even without motivation. The best example of this is working out. Many people think that they need to be in the mood to exercise before they go to the gym. But if they just start with 5 minutes of stretching, their body and mind will slowly get engaged, and then they will want to do more exercise. This same principle applies to everything. When you start doing any task, your energy starts shifting in that direction and motivation is generated on its own. Think about a time when you felt very lazy about doing something, but for some reason when you started it, you began to enjoy it. This is because after you start, your brain gets tuned to work in that direction. Sometimes at the beginning of a task, we feel a lot of boredom. But if we continue, that thing gradually becomes interesting. It's a psychological fact that when we get involved in an activity, our mind starts working towards completing it. Another big advantage of this is that when you start taking action, your self-doubt and uncertainty also begin to decrease. When you just think about how difficult a task is, it seems even harder. But when you start doing it, you realize it wasn't as difficult as you thought. Another interesting point is that taking action can also change your self-image. If you think of yourself as a lazy person, you'll behave that way. But if you just take 5 minutes of action, you can create a new story about yourself. I am a person who can work even without motivation. Just thinking this will make you ready to do more. Why is action necessary for motivation? To understand this, you can see it as a cycle. When you take an action, you get a small result. This result boosts your confidence and then it inspires you to do more. Gradually, this motivation increases and you can bring big changes into your life. To put it more simply, even if you don't feel like doing a task but start it anyway, you will soon find yourself getting interested in it. And when you do this repeatedly, you won't need to wait for motivation. You will take action and motivation will be generated from that action. Often when we hear the word risk, fear arises in our minds. We feel that if we take a big step and it turns out to be wrong, we'll be in trouble. This thought keeps us away from many new opportunities. But in reality, risk is not just a danger, but also a means for growth. When we stop seeing risk as something to be feared and instead see it as an opportunity to learn and move forward, our lives can change completely. Imagine if a child wants to learn to ride a bicycle, there is a risk of falling. If they never try out of fear of falling, they will never learn to ride the bicycle. But when they take that risk, fall, get up and try again, one day they can ride the bicycle comfortably without falling. This principle applies to our entire lives. Many people prefer to stay in their comfort zone because there is no risk there. But staying in the comfort zone means we have to limit our lives. The biggest disadvantage of this is that you can never grow. When you learn a new skill, start a new business, or take on a new challenge, there is risk involved. But with it comes a great opportunity to learn and move forward. Taking a risk doesn't mean you take a big step without thinking. It means you take calculated risks. That is, you first analyze the situation, understand its pros and cons, and then make an informed decision. When you take risks this way, your chances of failure decrease and your chances of success increase. Another major benefit of embracing risk is that it makes you mentally stronger. When you repeatedly take small risks and learn from them, your ability to face any challenge increases and you gain confidence. Gradually, your brain starts to see failure as a learning process, not as something to be afraid of. If you look at your professional life, all the big entrepreneurs and leaders have taken a big risk at some point. If they were afraid of taking risks, they might not have reached the position they are in today. Steve Jobs took a risk and created Apple. Elon Musk took a risk and built companies like Tesla and SpaceX. Behind every great success, there is always some risk involved. Similarly, in our personal life, if we always try to play it safe, we will never reach our full potential. If a person is afraid to express their feelings to someone because of the risk of rejection, they will never be able to express their feelings. But if they take that risk, they will either succeed or learn something new from the rejection and move on. Taking a risk doesn't mean you will always win. Many times you will fail. But these failures will teach you how to do things better next time. All successful people in the world have failed many times, but they learned from every failure and did better the next time. If you are afraid of taking risks, first change your mindset. Instead of seeing it as a threat, see it as an opportunity. Whenever a new opportunity comes your way, don't just think about what could go wrong. Also think about how much you could gain if it goes right. This habit of thinking will make you proactive and you will be able to seize more opportunities in your life. Another benefit of taking risks is that it improves your creativity and problem-solving skills. When you accept a new challenge, you have to step out of your comfort zone and find new solutions. This enhances your thinking ability and you start to feel more confident. So the next time an opportunity with a risk comes your way, don't just reject it out of fear. Analyze it thoughtfully, and if you feel the risk is worth taking, then definitely take it. It might just turn out to be the best decision of your life and change your life completely. Often when we plan our day, we create a to-do list. In it, we write down all the tasks we need to complete. But many times we find that our day ends and many tasks on our list remain unfinished. A major reason for this is that we don't pay attention to the things that distract us, that don't let us stay focused. This is why we should not only have a to-do list, but also a don't-do list. This is a list of all the things we should avoid so that our attention stays in the right place and we can remain productive. Think about it. If you start scrolling through social media on your phone as soon as you wake up, you waste a lot of time. You think you will just look for 5 minutes, but when you check the time again, 30-40 minutes have passed. Similarly, if you repeatedly check your emails throughout the day or react immediately to every little thing, your energy is spent in the wrong place.
The don't do list helps identify these kinds of things so that you can avoid habits that waste your time and productivity. To create this list, you first need to identify which activities distract you throughout the day. Do you check your phone during every short break? Do you waste a lot of time in unnecessary meetings? Do you spend too much time on social media without any plan? Note all these things and add them to your don't do list. This will give you a clear understanding of what you need to avoid. The biggest benefit of a don't do list is that it teaches you discipline. When you are clear about what not to do, you can focus more on your important tasks. For example, if your list says, I will not use social media before 10 am, then whenever you feel the urge to pick up your phone and check Instagram or Twitter, your list will remind you that this is not your priority. Gradually, this will become a habit and your productivity will start to increase.
Many people think that just working hard leads to success, but working smart is actually more important. If you use your time wisely instead of just staying busy, you can do more in less time. The don't do list helps you understand which tasks are just wasting your time, and by avoiding them, you can direct your energy in the right direction. To make it even better, you can update your list from time to time. Initially, you might feel that only social media is distracting you, but after a few weeks, you might realize that frequent unnecessary meetings are also taking up a lot of your time. In such a case, you need to add to your don't do list that I will not attend pointless meetings. Similarly, you can refine your list based on your experience. Another important point is that a don't do list is not just for avoiding distractions, it also gives you emotional and mental clarity. Many a times we make decisions that are not right for us simply because we have a habit of not being able to say no. If your list says I will not say yes to tasks that do not align with my goals, then it can help you avoid unnecessary commitments. If you are an entrepreneur, a writer, or any creative field, this list becomes even more important because the most crucial thing for you is deep work. That is the time when you can fully focus and do your best work. But if your attention is repeatedly diverted by small things, you will never be able to reach your full potential. The don't do list gives you the clarity to know which tasks to avoid so you can focus entirely on your most important tasks. This list is not just for professional life, it can be very useful in personal life as well. Suppose you want to improve your health. If your don't do list says, I will not eat junk food after 11 pm, then it will help you make the right choices. If you want to focus on your mental health, you can add to the list that I will not spend time with people who drain my energy. In the end, it's important to understand that just as it is necessary to decide what to do, it's equally important to decide what not to do. We all have 24 hours in a day, and if we learn to apply our energy in the right place, we can bring about significant changes in our lives. Creating a small don't do list is a simple but powerful way to make your day better and more productive. If you follow it honestly, you will see how your efficiency, focus, and overall happiness begin to increase. Every day in our lives, there are many tasks. Some are important and some are less so. But it often happens that we get caught up in tasks that are not that important, and the tasks that really matter to us get left behind. This is because we fail to set our priorities correctly. This is where the burner list comes in. It's a method through which you can separate your most important and less important tasks so that your energy and attention are directed correctly. The idea of the burner list is to divide your tasks into two parts, the front burner and the back burner. The front burner contains those things that are your top priorities, which require your utmost attention. These are the tasks that help you achieve your larger goals. On the other hand, the back burner contains things that are important but don't require immediate attention. These could be tasks that you can do later or are not as critical. Imagine you are a chef and you are cooking several things in the kitchen at once. Something is cooking on one stove that needs constant stirring to cook properly. This is your front burner. Meanwhile, some things are simmering on a low flame that can be attended to when the time comes. This is your back burner. In the same way, when we organize our lives like this, we can focus our energy in the right place. If you are working on a big project, that will be your front burner task. But if you also want to learn a new skill or work on a new idea, that can go on the back burner. This doesn't mean that the back burner tasks are useless. It just means that they shouldn't be given as much priority right now. This prevents your attention from getting scattered and you can focus on the most important things. The biggest advantage of adopting the burner list is that it simplifies decision making. Whenever a new task comes up, you can immediately decide which burner it should go on. This keeps your mind free from clutter and you don't miss out on important things. Its second benefit is that it saves you from multitasking. Often people try to do many things at once and as a result they don't complete any task well. But when you know which task is on the front burner, you can focus entirely on it and handle
other things later. To make the burner list more effective, you can review it every week or month because priorities change with time. A task that is on the back burner today might need to be moved to the front burner after a few weeks, so it's important to update it from time to time. This system not only increases your productivity but also gives you mental clarity. When your mind is not constantly preoccupied with what to do next, your mind stays more relaxed and stress is reduced. The superstructured decision model helps you avoid distractions and makes you a smart and confident decision maker. All our bodies work according to a specific rhythm called ultradian rhythms. This is the natural cycle that controls the rise and fall of our energy levels throughout the day. You might have noticed that at some point in the morning, you feel very energetic and focused, but a few hours later, you suddenly feel tired or distracted. This is the effect of this rhythm. If we understand this natural energy cycle and schedule our work accordingly, we can increase our productivity many times over. Often people make the mistake of expecting the same level of energy throughout the day. They think that if they work continuously from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., their output will always be the same. But that's not how it works. Our body works in a cycle of every 90 to 120 minutes. This means that after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, our energy naturally starts to decrease and we need a break. If we work according to this natural energy cycle, we can be more productive and feel less tired.
Think about it. If you do your most important and demanding tasks during your highest energy levels, how much more efficient would your work be? And when your energy is low, you can do tasks that don't require much mental effort, like checking emails, attending meetings, or planning. This way you work with your body's natural rhythm, not against it. The best way to do this is to observe your energy patterns. For a week, pay attention to what time of day you feel most energetic and focused, and when you feel tired or distracted. Understand this. Then, during your high energy time, do the most important work, the work that requires the most focus and creativity. For example, if you are a writer, do your writing during your high energy hours in the morning. If you're working on a strategy or plan, do it at your peak time as well. On the other hand, when your energy is low, do light tasks like calls, emails, and casual discussions. Many people feel guilty that they can't work at high performance throughout the day. But in reality, that's not possible. The most productive people in the world also take breaks and do the right work at the right time. A big advantage of this is that you avoid burnout. When we work continuously for long periods without a break, our energy gets completely drained and we get tired quickly. But if we follow the ultradian cycles and take breaks at the right time, our efficiency remains intact and we can perform at a high level for a long time. If you want to apply this approach to your life, let go of rigid timetables and understand your natural rhythms. When you are in a high energy mode, do challenging tasks, and when your energy is low, do light tasks. Taking a 30-minute short break also helps maintain focus and efficiency. This is not time management, it's energy management. When you start working according to your ultradian rhythms, you will find that you are doing more work with less effort than before, and your mind feels fresher and more focused. So friends, that was our book summary for today. Please let us know what you thought in the comments. Thank you for listening to the summary until the end.